It was a mystery at Lake Mead since the 1970s. Nearly 50 years later, the 8 News Now investigators have obtained original documents from when one man disappeared.
Local waterbeds in the southwest have become true deserts due to climate change and a severe drought threatening the Colorado River. The environmental disaster has also resulted in the finding of artifacts and the bodies of people who went missing in the waters of Lake Mead, which is just west of Las Vegas. What is baffling about the current level of Mead are the things scientists have discovered beneath the water. What is the relationship between this discovery and the origin of Mead? Are these findings pointers to what we should have known before now? Is there a possibility of discovering more with time? Keep watching to find out. Lake Mead was created by the Hoover Dam, which generates hydroelectric energy on the order of 4 billion kilowatt hours annually. The Great Depression, a time in American history marked by unprecedented unemployment rates and financial hardship for millions of people, occurred at the same time as the dam's construction. Thousands of people were employed by the construction project at a time in American history when employment was most needed. A bustling town was also built around the dam's building site to accommodate the workers and their families. The dam consequently became a representation of American tenacity amidst economic misfortune. In Nevada, Arizona, and California, it provides support for more than 1 million people. As Lake Mead's water levels drop, surrounding communities like Las Vegas may face problems. On the Colorado River, Lake Mead, located between Arizona and Nevada, is the biggest artificial reservoir in the United States. But because of the region's extreme drought, the lake is quickly approaching the dead pool stage. As of January 15th, the lake has 1,045.54 feet of water. However, the lake's water levels could drop to 895 feet in a few years, and it'll become too low for water to pass over the dam. The Hoover Dam's Lake Mead Reservoir was created artificially. The lake's up to 10 miles wide in some places and is only 25 miles from Las Vegas, Nevada. It's one of the Earth's most extensive artificial lakes and has a surface area of 229 square miles. Tens of millions of people in the surrounding areas use Lake Mead as a source of irrigation and drinking water. This makes it significant. In keeping with a 22-year decreasing trend, Lake Mead's water level is at its lowest point since April 1937, when the reservoir was being filled for the first time. As of July 18, 2022, just 27% of Lake Mead's capacity had been reached. It's good to know that the lake is the largest water source in the United States, and it provides water to millions of people in 7 states, tribal territories, and northern Mexico. This may be the longest drought to hit the American West in the last 12 centuries, and it currently serves as a stunning portrayal of climate change. Concerns about climate change, water use, and the drastic drought in the southwest have arisen due to Lake Mead's sharply declining water level. However, the lack of water has also led to some unexpected findings. The tale of Lake Mead serves as an example of the value of both exploration and conservation. You might be interested in learning why Lake Mead is losing water and what scientific findings have been made in and around the lake's diminishing waters. Things tend to come to light during droughts. Receding floods can reveal ancient, previously buried towns and illustrate the fragile nature of the critical processes that keep society running. As regards to Lake Mead, America's largest reservoir, receding waters have recently revealed long-buried secrets and other puzzling discoveries. At least 3 sets of human remains, such as a body inside a barrel that may be connected to a gang killing, and a submerged boat from the Second World War. The 4th set of human skeletal remains to be discovered at the swim beach of the lake was reported later to park rangers. 2 sisters found the other human remains a week after the 3rd was found. It happened when they were paddleboarding on a lake. At first, they thought they'd found the bones of a bighorn sheep. The skeletal remains were discovered in Colville Bay. According to CNN, it was thought that the remains belonged to a person who was between the ages of 23 and 37. Is there something unique about the new species of fish recently discovered at Lake Mead? And what will be their fate as the lake recovers gradually from the drastic drought. According to the US Bureau of Reclamation, Lake Mead's water levels are at a historic low of about 1,046 feet and are rapidly diminishing. The mountains that encircle the river bear a white footprint that indicates where the water's levels once were due to the extreme drought. Ecosystems are made up of a complex web of interdependent interactions between creatures and the environments they occupy. It may come as a surprise to learn that while the natural environment is made up of delicate systems made up of countless parts that are both dependent on and consistently wary of one another, ecosystems can be resistant when new organisms are introduced if managed to maintain the most significant extent of biological processes and diversity of components. The Hoover Dam built a lake where a large river once flowed, resulting in Lake Mead. The native fish that originally swam in the Colorado River's warm, muddy waters became the first inhabitants of Lake Mead, which is clearer and cooler. Fish were soon brought to this new environment from other areas and environments to give recreational fishing alternatives. None of the lake's fish species was in their ideal habitats, so both native and newly introduced non-native fish had to become used to their new surroundings. The secret to good lake management is maintaining a range of habitat conditions and watching the fish adjust. For Lake Mead, recreational sport fishing is a significant activity. The Arizona Game and Fish Department and the Nevada Division of Wildlife led yearly sport fish monitoring with cooperation from other agencies on the lake to evaluate the health and trends of sport fish populations and their food supplies. This entails conducting annual sport fish studies on both lakes, which involve measuring catch rates in nets placed on specified transects that span the lakes and monitoring using electrofishing in predetermined places. The agencies also employ comparable techniques to evaluate the quantity of different primary producers, including threadfin shad, which provides food for the wider sport fish. Recently, a new species of fish was found in the lake. The origin of this species is yet to be known, but according to the findings, it's a very large fish type that can even be fed to a 15-year-old. Anglers must have a Nevada or Arizona license to fish on Lake Mead. On the Nevada Department of Wildlife website, one can obtain a license for Nevada. Anglers can fish wherever they choose, but they must respect private property and follow placed signs, such as those guarding hatchery zones. With the receding water level, more fish species have chosen the lake as their new habitat. They seem not to be affected by the current water level. What has influenced the gradual recovery of the lake? Lake Mead reached 1,225 feet above sea level at its highest point in 1983. More water can be stored in Lake Mead than in any other storage facility in the US. Nevertheless, as of the summer, the level was approximately 1,040 feet, or 27% of its maximum elevation. Because of the low reservoir, Las Vegas started pumping water from deeper into the lake. NASA reports that Lake Mead is at 27% of its maximum capacity, and it's presently at the lowest water level it's ever been since it was constructed in 1937. According to a press report in May 2023, Las Vegas started pumping water from further down the lake because of how low the reservoir had become. The droughts, made worse by climate change, keep upsetting the West. The area hasn't been this dry for up to 1,200 years. The lake's water levels have risen slightly as a result of a recent surge in rainfall, but this is not a solution that'll last. The effects of reduced water are being felt by communities throughout the area. As crops shriveled and the air quality deteriorated, uncontrollable wildfires burn large acres of land. But as worries about the mega-drought grew, they seemed to reach a pinnacle in recent months as Lake Mead's effects became starkly obvious. This summer, the country's largest reservoir in terms of capacity plummeted to elevation levels never seen before. Photographs displayed fractured soil and deserted canyons, and satellite photographs displayed the reservoir's receding shorelines. Lake Mead could theoretically still provide drinking water to Las Vegas even if it reached a dead pool. But given how low the reservoir's fallen, there won't be enough water for agricultural uses. The drought, which has been on for decades, would require years of precipitation before it would end. The drought is primarily attributed to climate change induced by humans. It's disheartening that a persistent drought that's been impacting the river for more than 10 years has significantly decreased Lake Mead's water levels. The people interested in this resource risk losing it permanently due to both the rising demand for water from the reservoir and other factors. Additionally, the local fauna that depend on Lake Mead's habitat is in danger due to dwindling water. The lake's quality is also in jeopardy from invasive species like quagga mussels. Today, Lake Mead serves as a stunning destination for tourists seeking recreation. The tranquil desert scenery and majestic mountains encircling the lake are ideal for hiking, horseback riding, and camping. It has close to 250 square miles of water that are accessible to visitors thanks to a small number of boat launches, piers, and marinas that serve Lake Mead. Fish cleaning facilities, docks, harbors, and bays and campgrounds serve the lake. Some of the most well-liked spots for recreational fishing include Temple Bay, Echo Bay, and Willow Beach. Concerns that Lake Mead might soon reach dead pool status led to massive cuts to the water supplies of several states. Since a deficit in the lower basin of the river was proclaimed last year, where supplies have historically been fairly few, this was the second set of water restrictions enforced. It happens as the government demands deeper budget cuts to avoid a catastrophic deficit loom. Lake Mead was constructed by Hoover Dam. Its construction during the Great Depression was crucial to the growth of the neighboring areas, whose dry desert weather had previously limited industrial and urban expansion opportunities. To facilitate the distribution of water and the production of hydroelectric power for water and irrigation to districts and communities throughout Arizona, California, Nevada, and Mexico, water from Lake Mead must remain above a specific height to travel over Hoover Dam. The amount of hydroelectric power produced by Hoover Dam also depends on height. Low reservoir levels reduce the dam's capacity to produce electricity. According to Michelle Helms, a spokesperson for the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation, the maximum capacity of Hoover Dam for power generation was 1,320 megawatts at its current low level. This capacity is 36% less power than what the dam usually produces. The intricate system that divides and distributes the Colorado River consists entirely of Hoover Dam and Lake Mead. About 40 million people in the United States and Mexico receive their water from the river, which flows 1,400 miles from the Rocky Mountains in Colorado to the Gulf of California. The Glen Canyon Dam built Lake Powell, a crucial reservoir that, along with Lake Mead, receives and stores a sizable amount of the water necessary to maintain the Colorado River system. According to a study by the energy watchdog agency NERC, the loss of electricity from Glen Canyon Dam during a time of year when energy demand normally rises, such as the summer, might cause the local power grid to become unstable. The number reported at Hoover Dam was extremely close to the 1,000-foot benchmark needed to run its hydroelectric turbines at 1,043 feet above sea level. The water level at Lake Powell, which supplies the hydroelectric rotors at Glen Canyon Dam, was at 26% of its maximum level, although the Colorado River's overall capacity was just 10% higher. Longer periods of lesser precipitation result in less water accumulating in Lakes Powell and Mead, and less snowfall in the Rocky Mountains, which melts more slowly during warmer months and allows the river to flow more quickly. In addition, historically, less water had flowed freely through the framework than the Colorado River Compact's original projections due to the over-allocation of water when the state's distributions were established a century ago. States were initially permitted to withdraw a predetermined quantity of water from the river each year, allowing states to develop and grow for more than a century. But since development surpassed the amount of water available to sustain what was already there, it was predicated on a rough estimate based on the river's flow that experts later found inaccurate. States are making serious efforts to conserve resources due to the water shortage, and more than $12 billion from President Joe Biden's infrastructural law and the just-passed Inflation Reduction Act will be used to upgrade Western water and power infrastructure and address problems brought on by the drought. Using ornamental grass that's been outlawed in southern Nevada, where water cops patrol neighborhoods looking for waste offenses. Most of the reduction in Arizona comes from a canal that provides water to 80% of the people living in the state, and without which the state's key agricultural sector and cities like Tucson and Phoenix could not have grown to scale. According to Dr. Jolyn Russell, who's a climate scientist, a professor at the University of Arizona, and a member of the group Science Mums, Hoover Dam and Lake Mead are just 100 to 150 feet close to dead pool conditions. When this finally happens, electricity or water will not be able to flow from the dam. When it was at its original level, Hoover Dam produced a major portion of the electricity used by approximately 30 million humans. Currently, the production level has dropped. A dead pool will cut off electricity production and water flowing out of the Colorado River. To allow Lake Mead to start filling up again, Russell added that a much above-average snowpack would be required for several years, along with a great reduction in water usage. What are the discoveries at the bottom of the lake? Volcanic sites, World War II-era vessels, a footprint of a dinosaur, and identified bodies. The water level of Lake Mead has decreased by about 170 feet since 2000 as a result of a drastic drought in the area, which has caused its coastline to rapidly erode and expose vast stretches of the dry lake bed. Some residents and frequent visitors believe the drawback has diminished life at the lake from what it formerly was. However, the problem is also drawing a brand new type of tourist who's come to have a feel of what the recently uncovered shoreline has revealed. Lake Mead's receding level has recently revealed secrets below the water and other puzzling discoveries, including sets of human remains, one of which was found inside a barrel that may have been the victim of murder, and a submerged boat from the Second World War. A B-29 plane that crashed in 1948 has also been found under the water, and as its levels continue to reduce, the plane is seen clearly. Las Vegas scuba owner DJ Jenner, who's been studying the lake for years, reported that the volumes have dropped by about 40% since he opened his company. Due to numerous surprising finds being made at the lake's bottom as the water evaporates, the lake's garnered headlines recently. Over time, numerous batches of human remains have been discovered, and ships that were once hidden by the ocean are now becoming visible. Relics previously buried beneath the lake's surface have now come to light due to the lake's shrinking shoreline due to dry-up. Jenner and a few other business owners have discovered anything from coffee makers to boat debris in the past year alone. As the floods continued receding, he anticipated more finds would be made. Thomas Ernst, who's thought to have drowned 20 years ago, was recognized from remains discovered at Lake Mead, as reported by Nevadan authorities. According to a press release from the Clark County Office of Communications and Strategy, Ernst's remains, which were discovered in the lake's Calville Bay area on May 7th, were identified using investigation data, DNA, analysis, and reports of the initial event. Authorities claim that the 42-year-old Las Vegas resident drowned on August 2, 2002, but neither the official cause of death nor the manner was known. A guy who was discovered dead in a car near Lake Mead National Recreation Area on Tuesday has been identified by the Clark County coroner. The coroner identified the remains as those of Randy Lee Christensen, 48. What caused his death had not yet been determined. According to the National Park Service, investigators do not immediately assume criminal activity or murder. According to park authorities, the automobile was discovered in Lake Mead's Government Wash region. Officials had said that a body with a gunshot wound was among the other remains discovered. A homicide investigation is being conducted into that matter. According to police, those bones belonged to a person who passed away between the mid-1970s and the early 1980s and was given the coroner's office moniker Hemingway Harbor Doe. In mid-August, authorities discovered some partial remains of humans at Boulder Swim Beach on Lake Mead. Although it's unknown whether the 3 findings at Boulder Swim Beach belong to a single individual or come from different people, it was the 3rd time authorities discovered remains in that region. The initial 2 bones found there, both fragmentary remains, are being investigated by the Clark County coroner to see if they belong to the same individual, a county official previously told CNN. Due to advanced degrees of decay, which made it tough to retrieve DNA for identification, the procedure of identifying human remains discovered at the lake has proven to be arduous. During an interview with CNN, police and Clark County coroner Melanie Rouse mentioned that the coroner's office employs forensic dentistry, X-rays, forensic anthropologist studies, and fingerprinting to identify a body. Other items in the lake, such as a submerged World War II-era vessel and the reservoir's original 1971 input valve, have been made visible by the lake's declining water level. In another instance, Texas's catastrophic drought conditions and this summer's heat waves caused segments of a riverbed to dry out, revealing dinosaur footprints from around 113 million years ago in a nearby park. Lots of dead fish have started to appear as well. On the dry bed of Lake Mead, scientists have discovered rocks covered in volcanic ash that fell on southern Nevada during violent eruptions. These volcanoes last erupted as recently as 12 million years ago, claims a new statement on the research. Since the eruption occurred when close volcanoes would have gone extinct, scientists concluded that the ash was not from Nevada. According to these studies' findings, volcanic activity can have a significant impact on habitats that are miles from the source. Sedimentary rocks that have not been seen since the 1930s when the Hoover Dam was erected and Lake Mead was filled are being exposed by the record low water levels. Ash deposits from volcanoes in Idaho, Wyoming, and California were discovered among these rocks by researchers from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, UNLV. We were shocked to see so many of these ash units as the water level drops at Lake Mead, said the study's co-author and emeritus UNLV geology professor Eugene Smith. The low levels are being used by scientists to investigate silt that's been under the lake for close to a century. Smith's research group mentioned that the once submerged rocks were interspersed with white to grey-colored volcanic ash. They returned with samples to their lab to try to identify the eruption that had produced the ash, and they discovered the deposits were not from a single eruption. The Snake River Plain Yellowstone area, a group of dormant volcanoes that runs across Idaho and passes the Snake River into the Yellowstone National Park, and the east, where they discovered evidence of many volcanic explosions that occurred millions of years ago. In addition, they discovered ash from recent eruptions, which by geological standards occurred no more than 32,000 years ago. Studies suggest that there may still be continuing health risks from these eruptions in the region. Although there are no active volcanoes near the Las Vegas Valley, ash from these volcanoes could fall over southern Nevada. When moist, even a few millimeters of ash become tremendously heavy, bringing down power and communication cables. It may obstruct traffic. Wind and water can easily remobilize it. When inhaled, extremely small but sharp glass particles in the ash can result in serious, long-lasting lung disorders such as silicosis. Scientists have determined 4 potential sources for the ash. Tucanon's Snake River Plain hotspot track, which has remained active for 15 million years, and the Walker Lake volcanoes, infamous for causing massive earthquakes in 2019 and 2020 in Nevada and California, are among them. According to Smith, their most recent analysis may aid civilization in preparing for upcoming volcanic occurrences, even those caused by distant volcanoes, in addition to present and foreseeable climate change. According to Smith, the future can only be understood by studying the past. By analyzing previous volcanic episodes, we can comprehend how a potential volcanic eruption may influence a major metropolis. In the future, if a volcanic eruption occurs, we can create preparations to handle it. To ensure swimmers' safety, Lake Mead National Recreation Area has established a monitoring and administration response guide in reaction to growing concerns that altering conditions linked to the reduction in the level of the lake may increase the likelihood of harmful algal blooms or pathogens in well-like shallow water swim areas. Due to numerous surprising finds being made at the lake's bottom as the water evaporates, the lake, which spans Arizona and Nevada, has recently garnered headlines. Over time, numerous human remains have been discovered, and ships once hidden by the ocean are now becoming visible. The fauna that surrounds Lake Mead is diverse and particular to that environment. One of the fish species particular to the Colorado River Basin is the razorback sucker. This is an endangered species and its numbers are decreasing each day. Anglers must take care to release any razorback suckers they might unintentionally capture when fishing in Lake Mead and the Colorado River. While many will blame the drought for lower water levels in Lake Mead, it's crucial to understand the cause of droughts. According to research conducted by scientists, 42% of drought circumstances near Lake Mead are caused by climate change. Climate change occurs when anthropogenic emissions and pollution alter an environment's condition, leading to negative effects on climates and ecosystems. Due to the nearness of the lake to Las Vegas and because it rests over ghost towns like the Lost City, experts say they anticipate further findings. If you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to share it with people around you. You should also click the notification icon to get more videos from this channel. Thank you for watching.